He was Alexander
Cool.
Lesch. His birthday was February 14th,
Oh.
Valentine's Day, but I don't know what year. I don't remember the year working there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lived to be 90. Just 90.
Mm-hmm.
But he worked till he was 80 in Seabreeze.
Wow.
And he used to drive the truck, but then after a while he worked inside. And when he retired, they were very upset because they didn't want him to go.
Mm-hmm.
They liked him so much. So he was a hard worker, a good provider for his family.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go on, getting money from the government. He worked for his money.
That's good.
But very active in the church. In the church.
Born in Brooklyn, the Lesches moved to New Jersey in 1904 when he was 6 years old. All 8 of the siblings, except his oldest brother, were born on American soil. The family moved between Passaic, New Jersey and Clifton, New Jersey, spending the majority of their lives on 45 Sherman Street, Passaic County. Al met his wife at a family gathering. In a letter, his daughter wrote, "His parents came over with my mother's parents on the same boat. His parents came to New Jersey in the town of Clifton. My mother's parents stayed in New York, the Brooklyn area. They visited often, and that's how my parents met." When asked about their marriage, she replied, "They were good together. He always helped her out around the house, making dinner and tending to the kids." Al had 8 children of his own. With such a large family, he worked hard at his jobs in order to provide for them. Like his own family, Al's was a big one, and he surrounded himself with people he loved and who loved him. He was a quiet man who rarely voiced his opinions. Thus, it's hard to conjecture about his place during the years between 1910 and 1920. During that time, he was 11 to 21 years old, a young boy to a young man. He valued his family highly and worked in order to support them at a very young age. He was not a big drinker during his lifetime, so he was one who did support the Prohibition movement. As for women's suffrage, he never really voiced his opinions. However, because he was on the side of Prohibition, he may have been moved to support women's suffrage as well. As a son of a Hungarian immigrant, he may have viewed other minorities, such as African Americans, as competition. A public figure such as Jack Johnson would have been appalling to him with his lavish lifestyle and greedy ways. Openly flashing money and traveling with several girls at a time would have made a conservative man like Al's hair stand up. It's an interesting position my Al was in. He was the son of an immigrant, yet supported Prohibition and didn't drink alcohol. He prioritized his family over his own wants, something that is reflected in all his children and grandchildren.
He worked in an office for quite a while. But then there was an explosion, I told her, right next door to his office. And he was fortunate that he wasn't killed. So that company moved down to Georgia or South Carolina.
I mean, what was the company?
I don't remember.
That was pretty funny.
And they wanted him to move there, but my mother said no. There's 8 kids and they're in school here. The family was here. She wasn't going to go. So then I told her he worked for the DPW for quite a few years. You know, that was a lot of people out of work. That's what they did for work.
Now, did he have any hobbies? Did he like sports? Did he have a team he rooted for?
He ice skated. We used to ice skate on the Pacific River.
That's where, wait. That's where you guys got your
We
skating.
ice skated on the Passaic River. That used to freeze. They used to have cars. They used to have cars on that river.
Oh, really?
But we used to go walk there. Sometimes my father would drop us off and come back.
Al was described as quiet and hard-working by all who knew him. His daughter went so far as to call him an introvert. He cared for his family greatly, worked hard to support them, and devoted his life to God. With 8 children of his own, who each had their own children and grandchildren, he left behind a great legacy. There are Lesches all over the U.S., mainly in New Jersey, and some even in Midwest. Every couple of years a reunion is held, and the Lesches from all over attend. Al died in Paterson in November 1989, surrounded by those he loved. What I've learned from studying my ancestor is the importance of family. Blood is thicker than water, and it is imperative that we keep them close because they are all we have in this life.